Come now. Settle down, everyone. Scooch in tight. I want to make sure everyone's listening.
Are you going to continue the story? Yeah, I want to know what happened to the two adventurers. They found ColdRead? What happened to them next?
There. Be still, child. I will tell you all in good time, but not tonight. We wouldn't want to spoil the story now, would we?
Sorry.
It's quite all right. Once I'm well again, I will, I promise. But not tonight. I have a different story.
Is it about dragons? No, I bet it's a love story.
It is about all of those things, and more. It's about love and trust, but also sacrifice and pain. It's about memory.
Memory?
Yes. Have you seen the river that flows through the heart of ColdRead? It is said that it was this river that called the people of ColdRead to settle on its banks. And this river was full of memories and emotions of the people that came before them. Full of happiness and wonder that this path had brought them, but also pain and fear and doubt that came with following one's heart. In time, stories became legends, and legends became song, as our people passed on the knowledge the river had taught us all those years ago. Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a river full of memory. Sleep, my darling, safe and sound, for in this river all is found. In her waters, deep and true, lie the answers and a path for you. Dive down deep into her sound, but not too far or you'll be drowned. Yes, she will sing to those who will hear, and in her song all magic flows. But can you brave what you most fear? Can you face what the river knows? Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a mother full of memory. Come, my darling, homeward bound. When all is lost, then all is found.
Wow!
Now, where was I? Many were afeard of this river, but those with a strong heart and a will to keep going stayed and built ColdRead to what it is today. They walk among us still, you know, and I think you know them. Zamoody, the wizard, whose voice, as you well know, can take many forms. He helped to build ColdRead's foundations, starting small but helping us grow. And of course, there's Eldurrino, the blacksmith, whose knowledge of his craft and talented war cries helped to defend ColdRead from any form of attackers. And of course, we could not forget PrincessPashley, the elven beauty who helped bring this town to life through her many tricks and schemes, teaching all those who would hear her sing.
We know who they are. They're doing a podcast tonight. Are you saying they built Cold Read?
Why don't you ask them yourselves? Anyway, I think it's just about time you lot went to go see what they were up to.
Hey, Renara? I feel like you're missing someone. What about you? You have to give yourself a title. No way you can get out of this one.
Well, if I must have a title, I will be Renara the Storyteller. Will that satisfy you?
Yeah, I think that works quite nicely.
Okay then. Now run along and join your friends. I believe this night's podcast is just about to start.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever medium that you are watching us, either live here on YouTube or wherever you can find your podcasts. Welcome to Cold Read, a voice actor podcast. That was a wonderful introduction, Renara.
Indeed.
Bravo.
I was so worried it wasn't going to be good enough.
No, you
to be
again, you're setting the bar high, and because now we know that you're a singer.
honest. Yeah, I
And
do sing.
mm-hmm.
Pash, you're gone. I can't hear you.
Oh yeah, Bash, you're muted. I love how right before we were talking about how you were saying, "Oh, I don't feel like this is gonna live up to our past intros," and all of a sudden you just drop that right on us, and we're like, "What?"
Well, it's not something that like my channel's known for or that I like do as my main stuff. So I just I
That's
sing. There you go.
Why
'Cause
why did we never get you into Twitch Sings? That's
Because
sad.
same goddamn thing.
Because I was like, because I didn't know much about Twitch, and it's like I'd never had a reason to go on to Twitch before now, so
Wow.
I was too late. So yeah. I think that's why I'm slightly more nervous. I'm more nervous about people judging my singing than I am my voice acting.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I'd love to
Oh.
sell you to stop it, but I'm exactly the same way. So
Yeah.
yeah. Pashley,
yeah.
you were muted. Did you have comments?
Said you're in big trouble now.
Oh God.
Well,
But yeah.
yeah, very awesome. So before we get into our topic, I love to check in with everybody. So again, we're going to start off with the other side of the world. So Renara, how has your week been? And I hear that you have a big announcement for us.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Well, let's go.
Well,
boy.
to start with, shall I save that announcement for the end, or shall I do it
Oh
now?
no, it's up to you. Whatever you want to put it in.
Okay, I will. I'll do it. I'll do it now. Otherwise, I might forget. So, well, to start, as week's been one of those ones that goes like that, basically, in the
Right.
sense of some highs, some low lows, and all that jazz. So, when I was making, because there was a time where I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to make the intro this week. It was like basically. So
Yeah,
then
I saw the message you sent me. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then I went, okay, I'm gonna make this intro and I'm gonna do it in a way that's gonna make me feel happy. So I just thought, what makes me feel happy? Singing makes me feel happy. So I was like, I'm gonna add that in there because why not?
Yeah. That sounded great.
But yeah, and right, announcement, that's a thing I was going to do. So, as people might know, might not know, on my channel, Renara Hawke on YouTube, I run an audio drama where I get people in to do certain voices for a book series that I'm doing at the moment called The Assassin's Blade, which is one of the books in the Throne of Glass series. I am either tomorrow or the day after, the casting listing will be going up on CCC live for people to start auditioning for either tomorrow or the day after. There are 4 roles, 3 of which are returning characters, so that's the long-term onwards commitment sort of thing. So that will be available for everyone to check out on Casting Call Club. So if you don't have a membership or a what's it called?
An account?
That's it, on CCC, I would go and do that after this podcast.
Yay.
Hell yeah.
So
But yeah.
because on YouTube and on podcasts, it takes us a day, so you might actually be up by the time that you are listening to this.
That's true.
Casting Call Club, look up for Renara Hawke. You can look at her projects directly there. Super easy way of getting there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you got through your week. I'm sorry that if it caused you any hardship to do the intro. It turned out great.
No.
So thank you
think,
for that.
I think hardship breeds creativity in certain ways, I think. So I enjoyed the challenge, and if I hadn't have had a hard week, I wouldn't have put singing in, and I would have done something else. So
And I love that
thought it was amazing.
I appreciate you incorporated all of us. You asked us what roles you wanted, so it's very cool.
because those characters will turn up again. I'm making it a theme of my intros are going to be like joining each other now. So eventually,
Huzzah for
hopefully,
canon.
100%.
yeah. Well, hopefully I can put them all together and put them as a video on my channel or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah,
100%.
There you go.
that's the idea.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ashley. How's the new place?
So we're still settling in. This has been the first couple days I've had like solo by myself. Liddy went home on Friday
Aw.
because he's expecting new equipment from. He's gotten a new job with SHI, which is a bigger IT company, and he's really happy. He's going to be in sales, and it'll really play to his strengths. And it was funny. My dad said you would really be great for IT sales, and so happy that he's there.
Nice.
Anyway, so he's there. But anyway, my week was kind of like, I feel like my life is consistently in put out fires mode.
Oh, sure.
But it was, I had some big plans for yesterday. I wanted to stream, etc. But I got an email from Arlington County Friday night saying that I was eligible for a vaccine. So I had to kind of clear my schedule this weekend in preparation for everything that was happening. So got my vaccine.
Nice.
But I'm doing fine. And we also kind of had a tough week last week with one of Twitch Sing's, a member of the Twitch Sings community, passing from COVID. So we've been trying to be there for J-Mart and keep him, surrounded, so to speak, because nobody should really go through a loss like that alone. And it's like a putting out fires week. You're like, this week I'm really going to get my feet on the ground. And you're like, nope.
Been one of those
anyway,
weeks.
my big announcement is Tuesday afternoons when I'm not doing my own podcast.
Yes.
I'm going to be dedicating the time to streaming the voice acting auditions.
Nice. Yay.
Because Teeny Giant does that. And I'm like, you know what? My energy will be higher, and it will be, anyway.
I've done it. I've actually done that before. It's really nice because you do get some nice feedback from the people that are watching. Some other voice actors come in just to check out to see what you're up to, and you get some good feedback from that. So it's very good concept. Woo.
Well, puppers.
Wow.
All right there.
It's
those dogs
not Eldurrino this time.
Yeah, it's not my dog, thank God.
Those are all mine. Well, very cool, Pash. Very cool. So I look forward to what time are you planning on doing it?
Let me see what I announced on my Discord.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think I said about 3.
That's
Tuesday
3
at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Because with Liddy not here, I have access to my office all day.
Nobody screaming in the background from playing
fans and other things in the background. Nice.
Well, but he was using this space to take his phone calls with his job. He was in IT help desk, so I couldn't be in here streaming because
Because you're not the quietest streamer, are you?
Negative, Ghost Rider. Huge negative.
Very cool.
So, anyway, here we go.
Thank you. Eldurrino, how was your week? How's Death Stranding doing?
I'll get there. Let me talk about the subject, for this podcast. So this week I managed to get in 7 auditions.
What?
I think, well, they're for like 3 different projects. I just happened to audition for multiple roles. So
yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. One of the ones that I did was a Scott Pilgrim versus the World comic dub.
Ooh.
Nice.
If you know anything about me, I absolutely love Scott Pilgrim. I actually just bought the 10-year anniversary edition of the video game that came out, which is like a
I need to buy that
16-bit side-scrolling beat 'em up game. Super fun. Me and my girlfriend Meg played it together, had a blast. It was great. So I auditioned for multiple roles. Unfortunately, Scott wasn't available, which is fine because I wanted to do the other parts anyways. So I did like Wallace, I did like Komu, I did Crash from Crash and the Boys.
Nice.
Where he's like, all right, this one goes out to the guy who won't stop screaming at us from the balcony. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And then I did a couple of other spots that were more like villain roles. I got to sound like Torbjorn from Overwatch for one of them. So that was
Nice.
because that's what they asked for. So I did my best at doing that impersonation. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like exactly like it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Cool.
So that was my auditioning that I did this week. And then I think I talked about it last week about the other project that will hopefully be my first paid role. That guy just responded and said, here's, or, I like what I hear. I'm going to animate around your voice, and then I'll send it to you once it's. So it sounds like it's going on. So
Nice.
Good.
Hopefully that's a done deal. If it is, great. He agreed to my set rates already, so I'm happy with that.
Oh, that is a big step.
That's a
Yeah.
huge step. That's
Yeah.
Well, I go a
Nice.
little bit lower than most. I do $1.50 per line.
Nice.
Okay.
But I mean, that's still something, I mean, 70 lines that equals up to $105 or something like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my voice acting part of the week. Otherwise, yes, I have been trying to finish Death Stranding. I'm almost done. I am like right at the last chapter, I think. I don't know how much is left, but I do plan on trying to 100% that game. But story-wise, yeah, I can't really say much again.
Right.
'cause
It gives
very
away too
spoiler
much.
heavy.
Yeah.
But the more I play of it, I was talking about this last night on Zamoody's stream. The more I play of it, the more I just sit there like, what?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It does that to you.
Yeah, which I mean, it's great. I love kind of piecing together things as I go along, but Kojima's very good about like, oh, you just
Curveball.
figured this out. Well, guess what? Here's this other
Fuck
thing.
you.
So I'm really excited to finish that up to see how that concludes. Pashley, I know you expressed interest in that before. I can wholeheartedly sell you on it. It is, if you like a really good storyline and you don't mind a little bit of patience and planning in your game, pick it up. It is really good.
I'm out.
Yeah, well, you know how I am about that stuff. Some a game like Phasmophobia is pretty easy to access and pretty easy to just get started. But theory crafting, sometimes I get overwhelmed by it.
Well, it's not so much theory crafting. It's more just like, I have to bring thing from A to B. What
Okay.
do I need to bring with me to make it the most successful without overbearing myself?
Right.
So, yeah, it's more not roguelike, but more kind of like RTS style in a sense. Either way, highly recommend it to anybody who likes a really good story and prefers a different type of gameplay outside of the normal like FPS genre or action adventure genre. There's action, but it's more about planning and thinking ahead. So really great. I'll stop selling or sucking Hideo Kojima's dick.
Thank you for that visual.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I also been playing Starbound a little bit. I just started playing that yesterday, or I'm sorry, on Friday. I didn't give it a thorough like playthrough before, because like 2D games are kind of like for me. But yeah, so I started playing that a little bit, and it's actually pretty fun. I'm not huge on like Minecraft, I guess, but that one it's entertaining. It's a lot more fun with people though. So yeah, that has been my week. Oh, and we're also getting hit with a blizzard now, so that's great.
Nice. Now weather. I mean, we get it down here, but the most that I've gotten is just a lot of rain in the last week. So very cool. Thank you for sharing, Eldurrino. So for me, and I'll be completely honest, I've not been in the right headspace. I really haven't. I think I did one CCC audition this week. I did 1 day's worth of voices.com. I could have done a lot better. I focused, I think, on my streaming a lot more, so I've been more active there. I made some changes. I did some overlay stuff. made some more sound effects for my stream, and people seem to be enjoying it. So I will say I did have one thing that came out. I was cast as the Joker back in November.
Nice.
And the Ultimate Riddle DC audio drama came out a couple of days ago. I'm about 20 minutes in. I got a nice little stint there, a stint at the end. It was a lot of fun to do. Oh yeah, and
do we have a link for that?
Sure, I will definitely send over a link.
Come on, Zamoody.
Natafan is reminding me I did make a kick-ass raid alert for him too, and I'm always available to do raid alerts for everybody's channel. Pashley, you've got your intro here. You guys all pretty much have an intro, except I need to work on one. Yeah, I need to work on one for you. I was about to say, I need to work on one for you, Renara. But yeah.
Yes. Good.
No, sorry.
I was just gonna say, quick sidebar. Since you mentioned about releasing or that thing being released, I also had a project that I did for audio fan fiction. I had a part in a Lord of the Rings fan fiction come out. One of the chapters, anyways, out of the 2 that I'm a part of, that came out sometime this last week. So I have a small part in it, but it's cool. It's an interesting listen.
Yeah.
And I will tack on to the end of that. My Kaldheim even, get that right. Kaldheim episode will come out this week at some point. I think it's on the 5th, I think it comes out. So it'll be on like SoundCloud and YouTube. And if you find Voices for All, I think that's where all of the stuff goes. So that's coming out this week.
So I'll tell you what, everybody, drop your projects, drop your links inside of our area, and I'll put it in the description for all of our stuff.
Okay. I will do that.
Very cool.
If I can find it.
No problem. So, not to get, but into a more serious note, our topic this week is something that's called Imposter Syndrome. So, Imposter Syndrome is essentially the feeling that you're just not good enough, or that you're going to get discovered that you aren't really supposed to be where you are or doing what you are doing. So. I'm watching my chat. I apologize.
I am attempting to find things, but I'll do it later.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, and it's a hard topic for me to talk. I've tweeted about it before. And I was talking to my wife actually about this particular topic for me personally, because I go through these bouts. Where
Sorry, I just saw Matt in the chat. I just saw Matt in the chat.
Yeah.
Continue.
No, where because I'm. She brought up a very good point. As I'm very privileged in order to be able to have a booth and the equipment and everything that I have here in order to do it. But I've got to get out of my own headspace in order to be able to advance. Because you get into your own head very easily. I mean, you are your worst critic, and my God, you cut yourself down super fast.
I mean, like, even this week with the opening and stuff, like, I was literally just going, is this good enough? Is this good enough for ColdRead? Is this am I it got to a point of, if it's bad, should I even be on this week? Like, if you know what I mean, sort of thing. And you get into that headspace of, like, once you've done something like the big one I did, like, to begin with, once you do that, and then you feel like you have to maintain that level of greatness that you think you need to stay at in order to stay in the game. But no matter, like, after now hearing my one for today and then seeing everyone's reactions and stuff, it's you kind of get that positive reinforcement, or reinforcement of positive stuff, saying, oh, you're not as bad as you think you are. And it's that sort of getting that extra feedback from people helps to combat it, I think.
I think a very good mantra, instead of thinking you're not as bad as you think you are, is you're not bad, period.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Everyone is different. Everyone is going to have different tastes or interests or whatever. So just because your work doesn't appeal to a specific crowd doesn't mean that it's not going to appeal to someone else. And I'm really glad that we're talking about this, because Imposter Syndrome is something that has plagued me since I was a child. I've talked about this before. I grew up as a musician, playing clarinet for 8 years, playing guitar, both to this day. And I suffer from it all the time. I always compare myself to other people. I always say, oh, well, I'm never going to be as good as this person, so why should I put in the work? Or when it comes to like my own music writing, I think, this song is so much better than what I've written. Like, why should I continue working on it or trying to make it better? And the
it's
fact
that
of the
why
matter is,
try part that just sort of is the kicker, really. It's that point you get stuck in, why try, and then you have to find, well,
right.
there has to yeah.
A big part of it for me personally is it comes down to my anxiety. I still struggle with it a bit to this day. It's become far more manageable as I've grown into being a full-fledged adult and doing activities and stuff to take care of it. But there's still that little voice in the back of my head that every now and again rears its ugly head and says, "You're not good enough. You can't do this." Et cetera, et cetera. And it's a horrible feeling to deal with. Like, and nobody likes to deal with it. I really wish I could be that person that just goes out in front of everyone and says, "This is what I have. It's really good," or "It's something you're really going to enjoy." But it's more, every time I put out my stuff, I'm just like, "Here's me.
Yeah.
What do you think?" Like,
I think it's having that courage to go, I am good enough. And it's that courage to be comfortable in yourself and know that for you, this is good enough. It doesn't have to be for anyone else. It has to be okay. Like, I'm the storyteller, so I'm going to share a story, if I may.
Of course.
I went to university to study film production, so I was primarily on the other side of things before this. And I don't know whether I don't know whether I've said it on stream, but I know I've told you guys this story. And that I decided to go on a film course after university. And I thought I going on that course, I had already felt like, am I good enough to be a director? They've got me on being a director for making this film. Am I going to be good enough? And when I got there, that was being perpetuated to the point where it got so stressful, it put me in hospital. And so having that, and then sitting in the hospital wing, having them looking at my heart and going, is this good for you? Should you really be doing this? Having that said to you when this is what you really want to do, that just, it then perpetuates that, why bother? Why try? If it's going to do this to me, why try? And it's taken me about 3 years to get to the point of, that was just one incident. That doesn't define what I want to do in my life. This is who I am. This is my limits. This is what I can do. And if you don't like it, oh well, sort of thing. And it takes that time, and it does take a bit of a knockback to then kind of find within yourself what you are, I think is a way of putting it. And that was just that was the first thing that came to mind when we were talking about this, because it was that moment of it was the turning point of why try. And then I realized I want to try because I want to do this, and it doesn't have to be for anyone else but me, and it doesn't have to impress anyone. I don't have to be like these people. I can just be me, and then if that fits somewhere, it fits somewhere. It was almost as if, because I wanted it so badly that was the only thing I thought I could do. Like, without it, I was nothing, sort of thing. And then I had that, and then I felt like I didn't fit anywhere. But then when I started getting a job in like education, these other things, I then realized, wait, I am me, and I'm not anyone else. I'm not going to be like anyone else. This is me. And it took that cycle of figuring it out, I guess, to get to that point. And I'm gonna stop talking now.
You need to stop doing that. You're perfectly fine. You're one of four.
I just get to that point where I sort of like stumble over my words and fall flat on my face and go, there, I said my piece.
Well, I want to make sure that we acknowledge people that are sitting on chat. And yes, that's a very good point, Eldurrino. Yeah. Burnham says there's definitely a positive feedback / imposter syndrome cycle. It's like manic depression.
Yeah.
Is it Pylord streaming?
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine being a full-fledged adult. Couldn't be me. Dies just out of high school.
Yeah.
So Pashley, do you have any experience on that before we start talking about what we can do?
Oh,
To
I
try-
could write a.
Fire. Sorry, I
could
just saw
write
fire.
a-
and, Like
Yeah.
fire. He's like, I think I've got it.
Yeah.
If you think you have it, talk to someone.
Agreed. And you know what? Before we say anything else, because I said this before we started recording, if we are not doctors, we are not medical professionals in
No.
any way, please do not take us as this is how you're going to get over it. If you feel like you need help, seek help.
Yeah.
Seek mental health, seek medical
100%.
attention. Yeah, as
Yeah.
soon as possible. Sorry, Ashley, go ahead.
Oh no, it's perfectly fine. I can't even begin because imposter syndrome leaks into so many things in your life, and I spent 10 years in a very toxic marriage where I was like, I have to be this or else it won't be good enough. Maybe I'm making too huge a jump.
Mhm.
But
No, I think
No,
it
not at all.
fits. I think
Yeah.
it fits.
and it's the more I kind of go into things that do the things that make me happy and focus there, the more it's alleviated. So I really do like playing guitar, really do like playing piano. It's a whole tangle of things. And as far as like, oh, I can't be a singer anymore, what can I be with music? And like I'm kind of by following kind of what I love and being encouraged by a really incredible partner and being surrounded by a community, I'm like, well, I'm working for a nonprofit now, and and they think I'm great, and I'm still doing something relevant. Like I'm still doing my music stuff in a way, And before I thought I had to, it's the equivalent of putting Play-Doh back into the jar.
Yeah,
And you're just like
one.
trying to shove it in, and it doesn't always. That's how I felt for so long. I have to be some kind of like respectable job, right?
Yeah.
And when in actuality, I was good enough. Maybe I wasn't with the right person.
Exactly.
So and he and I, we're buddies now, and he has a girlfriend who is much more suited to him. Sometimes I feel like he maybe just needs his own space and is not really suited for marriage. I don't know, but anyway, so we're all happier. End of story. Streamers, we feel like, I think I have to mention Tyler Leves in this because he said something really wise the other day about building music stream and practicing looping. And he's like, you're never going to enter looping or music streaming being like Ed Sheeran at that one performance of the Grammys, the legendary Give Me Love performance. And he's like, you have to kind of measure yourself against yourself and really honor your journey, your progress. And, that really sunk in with me because I'm like, I don't know that I'll ever be as good as Tyler Leves at looping. Guy's friggin' genius.
There was one thing that I had a friend of mine who many years ago, and she was worried about legacy and what she could leave behind and stuff. And I like to use the analogy, and I say this to everyone: you leave a legacy behind the people through the people you meet and the things you do. Every single thing you do and what impact you have on a person you meet is that little bead on the necklace of your life that you are making. And that is beautiful in itself. And you don't need to be this pop star. You don't need to be at the top all the time. You just take joy in the journey that you're on, because it's your journey, and getting to the destination might be great for like a small part, but once you're there, what do you do then? It's the journey that counts, and it's what you do as you go, I think, is what I'm going to say there.
and that's something that we have stressed on more than once so far in the podcast is do the stuff that you want to do because you enjoy it, not because you're trying to achieve a specific goal. Like, I want to be such and such in this role or whatnot. Just if you want to get into voice acting, do it because you enjoy doing it, not because you're trying to impress someone or whatnot. The same thing goes with music or acting or anything like that. Just do it because you enjoy it, because you love the feeling that it gives you. And really that positivity that comes along with it helps with maintaining or rather getting rid of that imposter syndrome feeling. Never mind, I'm going to save what I was going to say until we get into later on.
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Let me, because Xavier is also does a lot of voice work, and he's sitting in the chat, and he said, key things for me from when I started my acting career to now is being able to remove the reality or the facts from any negative feelings I had, understanding that I'm not perfect and being okay with that. I have high standards, but I'm also realistic, embracing ignorance and using that as motivation to learn and constantly improve, knowing that no one has it figured out, no matter what it looks like from the outside. And I can understand that.
100% agree with all of that.
Yeah. It's and like I said, it's just you cut yourself down so easily and so quickly that it just I've got to find a way to get out of my own headspace just to be able to get back to where I want to be. And like Eldurrino said, I'm not looking to get rich off of this. I'm looking to use this as a hobby, and if it springboards into something great. This is actually the same thing that I have with streaming. I stream when I'm playing, and I only stream to do it to hang out with people. I'm not looking to be the best streamer out there, that's just not going to happen. So that's one of the pluses. I don't feel like I have that sense of sorry. I don't feel pressured when it comes to my success. I do this for fun. Yeah. And I'm trying to do this also for when it comes to the voice acting side. But because I'm not going to say that we don't have rejection, but we don't see much when it comes to, as much as we put in, we don't get back when it comes to voice acting. And that does take a toll.
Yeah.
Could you start off and you go and it gets into your head of when you don't hear back from people and you don't hear any feedback or anything, you're going, did I do it right? Was the voice wrong? But what's going? And you start spiraling, and you do start spiraling, and it is just that thing of you need to go, wait, they might just be busy. I can move on to something else and put it aside. Don't forget it, but just don't let yourself go down that rabbit hole, because that is the spiral that puts you into it keeps going and going, and then why bother sort of thing. So if you can take that capacity to just step aside and go, that's happening there, I'm not going to look at that right now, and do something else.
In general, I feel like non-responsiveness from someone that you wish would respond creates a lot of negative emotion, and I have the perfect example for this. So say you're on a dating app, right?
Okay.
Here we go.
So you send off a message to someone you think is very attractive, someone you feel like you would talk to very easily. You send off the message, say like, hey, I'm so and so. I really like, that you enjoy this thing, and then it just sits there, and there's no response. You don't hear anything from this person. Then the thoughts start getting inside your head. Did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough for this person? Am I not good enough in general? It's a very awful plague that hurts all of us in general, I feel, whether you have like any trauma in your life or any mental issues or whatever you want to call it. And it's really hard to deal with. But overall, you just have to kind of, and same thing goes with auditions, really, is you put it out there and then just put it out of your head. And it's kind of difficult to do, especially when you're passionate about something in particular. But if you just put it out there and just almost forget that it exists in a sense, you will feel a lot better about yourself overall. And you can keep moving forward with your auditioning process, with your musical career, with your dating life, whatever it may be.
And then if someone does come back to you, it's a positive thing. It's like oh, yay sort of moment, rather than oh, finally. If you know what I mean.
No, absolutely.
What's super important, there's a couple things to be said here, and Zamoody makes a really good, I have to kind of build upon what Zamoody said about, feeling the pressure. I would advise anybody to not do this to do streaming voice acting, like we've already said it, as your full-time gig. Certainly those in the higher echelon make a lot of money, and that seems like, the shiny, but the content suffers, and it shows when you're you're not seeing the results you want. And plus there's also if you're streaming all the time, where are you filling your cup? Where are you filling your bucket? So no, this is not a dig at anybody who, makes a living doing this and is aspiring to do that. But you really have to be careful that you don't throw your entire being into streaming, because I ran into this and I got very burnt out and I got very bitter. I got, and so I have shifted to personal projects and learning new things and taking care of myself physically. And so, and those are the keys. Then you can come to your audience. Say you do want to be successful at this. If your audience sees that you're unhappy and you feel burnt out, they're out. They come to you. Your audience owes nothing to you. The people you audition for owe nothing to you, because they're probably listening to 500 people and they don't have time to get back to everybody. It's the same thing with dating apps, I suppose.
Right.
I don't know. That lady, she has like 1,000 people responding to her, Eldurrino. Okay.
But I think the dating app is a really good contrast to basically what we go through. Because one thing that voices.com actually does keep is your stats, scary enough as it is. So I can tell you, out of the 523 invitations to audition, I've done 254 of them. They've only listened to 164, and I've only been shortlisted 9 times.
Right.
So it's you put in all of this effort, and it's just and I haven't heard back from except one. I picked up one job from voices.com since November. So it's you can't. My personality has a lot of competitiveness to me. It's part of my core strengths. When some jobs they make you do the core strengths things. Command is one of them. Strategic and competitive. They're like my top 3. So I've got to make sure to not keep that in my head, because I will work myself ragged to figure out what is it and how am I going to do it.
Right.
Yeah. But it's you got to watch out. You got to watch out for those things.
Yeah, and to kind of go along with what Pashley was saying, I mean, the people that are very successful in their respective careers aren't doing it or didn't start by thinking, I'm going to make this amount of money each year, I am going to book these number of gigs or whatnot. They will always tell you they do it because they like it, because they enjoy entertaining people, or they enjoy entertaining themselves. They enjoy doing voices or playing their instrument, whatnot. So,
for example, even if we're the Critical Role cast, they get most of their money now through doing Critical Role, not even doing voice work anymore. These big name voice actors like Laura Bailey, Liam O'Brien, these guys, they only do their stuff every now and then now. Like most of them, I don't think that they made most of their money through, what was it, like doing audio dubs and going through the sort of anime route, and that's how they managed to get into doing this for a lot of money. But even Matt Mercer has said that he got burnt out and he started to enjoy it less by having to do it constantly all the time. So when he started Critical Role, they went through an already existing company called Geek and Sundry, so they were tacked on and are getting help via them. And now these big name voice actors will do a project when they want to do it, and you can tell just by, because I think Laura Bailey recently was the Blade of Galadriel in the second Shadow of War game, and that was one of her most recent things. And you can just tell that she's like, her voice acting quality's gone back to what it used to be now, and it happens to them up the top. So it happens to everyone, and it's not all. Yeah, so it's not there's not a divide in where you are on your journey. Everyone experiences this at some point.
Yeah.
So then the question becomes, how do you cope, and where's your escape? And
by doing what you like, by refilling your cup, as you said, doing things that you enjoy, and then coming back with that fire and that energy that people come to see and people come to feed off of, because that's what entertainment is. People want to come to be entertained, to be like, to feel happy, sad, all these different emotions, and that's what we as voice actors do to bring to the table and things like that. And I think what a good thing to think about to help with the imposter syndrome is that whatever you do, someone is going to want you to be doing it, even if it's just that one person. Like when I was doing my audiobooks, when I started, it was just me doing it. I was like, I don't know if my audience want it. One person kept commenting on all of my videos, just that one person, and he's
Aw.
watching this stream tonight.
Aw.
And he's in here. It's fire. He constantly would comment on all of my videos, and just that one person just kept me going. And now I'm doing all sorts of other things. And so if you're struggling and you're feeling like, why bother? Think about that one person. And even if that one person is you, if you want to be doing this, do it. Like, just think about that someone out there. If it isn't yourself, someone out there wants you to be doing this. They may not have found what your work is yet. There is how many people are there in the world? Like 7 billion
Yes.
more. One person is going to be wanting you to do what you're doing. If that, hold on to that. I'd say if you're struggling, hold on to that. I'd say.
I would say another thing
That's correct.
another thing that you can do to help yourself pull out is don't be afraid to talk about it. It's okay to show that you're going through something like this, because people want to try to project this strength, and that's just not something that's going to help you. I also want to acknowledge Burnham again, who's been listening to us. He's our one right now that loves to tune in. Thank you so much for being here, Burnham. Casting Call Club does have the listen to stat, and I've mentioned before that I became super focused. I would check in on it every hour. Who listened? What's the comment? Etc. Etc. I don't do that anymore. I'm separating myself because it's too much for me to worry about. And you also, I didn't know you were a professional DM, so that's good to know. Sorry, go ahead.
I haven't gotten far. I haven't, because I paid for gold membership to see those stats and to have my casting calls get pushed up to the top. So I've paid money for that insecurity, because it's the thing of it was like, oh, I want to know if they've actually, who's listening to my stuff and when they listen to it and so on. So initially it was oh, I can see when they've listened to it, so then I can know when I can move on to the next thing or whatever. But then it became a thing of when someone hadn't listened to it, I then just would go back and go, why haven't they listened to it? Why haven't they listened to it? Why? And then because oh god, I was on one of the discords for the project and they hadn't listened to it. So I wasn't the only one. There was quite a few people on this project who they had the same. Nobody, the director hadn't listened to their auditions. So I was slightly vocal about it and went, so hey, director, it's not just me, there's quite a lot of people here. And so I just sort of used my voice, because everyone, I did that thing of, if I can do something about it, I'm going to do something about it. I can speak to this person, I'm going to do that. And that was my way of getting around it, because in anything in my life, it's just sort of like, if I can do something about it, I'm going to do something.
Right.
So basically. And so I just messaged and just had, they set up a section for people to, if they haven't been listened to yet, they could link it there and he would listen to it eventually, because there was about 200 to 300 auditions for this entire project. And I was like, I understand that you haven't listened, there's a lot that you need to get through, but it was almost like, I don't know, it again, there we go, my brain is doing that thing of, oh, there's this, oh, but then there was this, and blah 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 blah, and it's rolled down, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be good. I'm going to sit here and smile and nod and go, that's fine.
I want to pull a question from chat that just popped in real quick, because I have something that kind of pertains to this.
Go ahead.
Wondar says, is it really insecurity, or do you just want feedback on something you're putting effort into, whether it be lack of feedback or response to the dating scenario again, the feeling of helplessness? I have a perfect example. So when I was in the booth this week, I saw a fan dub thing for the Halo series, where it's supposed to be more of a comedic thing. And one of them was an emergency recasting for the role of Master Chief. I have no experience with the Halo games personally, but I listened to, some of the lines from Master Chief, did my best to try and imitate the voice as closely as I could. And then I recorded it. But during that, I started having some doubts about how the voice was sounding based on the original actor. That then that insecurity led me to listen to other auditions that had been submitted. It is one of the biggest mistakes you can ever make, and I highly recommend you do not ever listen to other people's auditions prior to submitting your own.
Oh, 100%.
Because after that, I started listening to it, And I found one in particular that one of the lines was supposed to be more comedic. Like it was kind of a dark humor thing, but the delivery of the line was just like, it was perfect in my mind. It was hilarious. It made me chuckle a lot. I couldn't get over it. But that insecurity there of hearing it and thinking, I can't beat that. I just wiped the entire thing, and I didn't even submit an audition. So going forward, I highly recommend, if you're getting into this as a hobby or as the industry, don't listen to other people's auditions first. Just focus on what you are doing, and that's it.
Because you are you, and only you can do what you can do.
Yeah.
Because I was just going to say, because some people, like, you listened to that audition and thought that was amazing, that was brilliant and everything. That might not be exactly what they're looking for. That, again, you can never be in the head of the director and know what they're looking for.
Exactly.
So you've got to just put your interpretation out there and just go with that. I know that, because I was discussing with some friends, that some people have the fear of when they get called into a project, how much can they put their own spin on things, / they don't want to overtake it, if you know what I mean. So what would you say to that, guys, in the sense of if someone's coming onto a project and then they're feeling worried about, what's the word? It's really hard to describe.
I would just talk to the casting director personally, because I mean, whoever wrote the role knows exactly what they want most of the time. You can definitely collaborate and kind of work some ideas together to determine how you want the character to be fleshed out. But overall, like 90% of the character itself is going to come from that person. So I actually did this with Matt Mann when I was recording lines for a project that he's working on like a couple weeks ago. I was a little bit uncertain of how exactly he wanted the character to be voiced. Like, he gave some notations in the script as to the emotion you should be, or the line should be delivered, but I was still a little bit uncertain about it. So I just asked him, like, you know, would you like it like this? And then I gave him an example, and then I'm like, would you like it like that? And then did the different imitation. And then he would tell me, like, you know, here's what I think would be best. I think about what I want it to sound like, and then I deliver it. And then he'll just tell me, you know, okay, that was perfect, that was good, or, you know, can we try something else? Like, insecurity is a hard thing to deal with, especially when it comes to performing arts. But you have to be receptive to feedback. Not all of it is going to be good feedback, so you need to prepare yourself for criticism. But you really need to be open to other people's critiques. You know, if somebody says, I'm not a fan of how you did that, let's try something else. Right. Just simply ask, how would you like it done then? Would you prefer this? Would you prefer that? Or maybe they'll just straight out tell you, this is how I want it to sound. And then you try it. And if they don't like it, you try it again. And you just keep going at it until you get something that you like, or something that fits.
Yeah, there has to be like a boundary. I think boundaries is a really good thing to talk about with this stuff, because you're a product, right? That's what's really tough about being a performer. You are the product, you know, so you have to separate a product Pashley and personal Pashley. Wow, we have so much alliteration. Go.
Nice.
So, but personal Pashley has to be separate. You know, you will not grow if those things are merged and you see your value in your product, so to speak. You want to care for your product, obviously, like, you know, but you're remember, you know, there's like the ego that protects you from like incoming harm, or, you know,
super ego. I think that
super
is.
ego. I
Sorry,
think that
it's psychology. The ego is the I, is the what I want. The super ego is the parent.
There you go. Thank you.
And I think it's the sort of protected bit. That's what I got from my A level in psychology. Yay.
Yeah. No, but that's what I was trying to think of, was like, there's that separate thing. Like, you kind of have to put it on hold and say, I'm just trying to improve myself here. And
step out of it and go, right, it's why I think a lot of us, you don't use our like legal names. It's another way of being able to separate yourself. Like, there's personal me, and then there's the product, the Renara Hawke, for example, or
Mhm.
Pash,
Mhm.
or that's a good way to mentally separate yourself in that regard, I think.
It's kind of like, not sleeping in the place you work. I think it's
Yeah.
Dogger said that. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Don't-
just been
don't-
so tough about being home is like,
Well, that's why you separate yourself. Don't work in your bed. Just don't work when you're sat in bed, because that doesn't work. Trying to write an essay in bed doesn't work.
I also, so far so good. I just want to make sure, because we're running up on time here. That I mean,
We
like,
got a lot in the chat.
yeah. So you make sure that you build a good support system. I feel like every person that's in here, I can talk to you guys when it comes to one of these situations, that you're going to give me some sound advice. So make sure you have a good support group. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you feel like you need it, seek attention, get professional attention if you need it.
Not us.
Yeah, we are definitely not it. We are just talking about our
Communication is
experiences.
key.
Yes,
Right.
100%.
In regards to how to deal with it, for me personally, and I definitely recommend this to a lot of other people as well, is the human mind will naturally build barriers due to ego, due to fragility, insecurity, whatnot. Just lower them, bring them down a little bit, and be open and receptive to any feedback that is given to you. Like I said, not always going to be good feedback.
Mhm.
Some of it may be me, kind of like, I don't like how that makes me feel. Some people will tell you, you suck. That's not good, like, and it hurts. It's not fun to deal with. We all go through it, but you just need to roll with the punches and keep on moving. So I would definitely recommend, try to be a bit more receptive if you feel like you're getting a lot of like negative feedback, and just listen to what other people have to say, and never be afraid to ask questions, either from people that you know, people that you trust, or the people that you're auditioning for, or people you have been cast with.
Check on that in a second. No, I 100% agree. And it's important, because you either aren't going to hear anything. For the most part, a lot of people that you deal with, especially in the amateur side, are other voice actors. So their feedback is good. Their feedback mostly, but you will get those people that are trying to do it for profit, and they will come down hard on you. And all you need to do is take those little nuggets of information that they're giving you and analyze them. Take a step out of yourself and look at it.
It's a critique on the product. It's a critique on the product version of you. I'm latching onto that, Pashley. That's a really good analogy, I think.
Yes.
Whatever negative and whatever comment you have on your voice acting, or whatever you're trying to do for a project, that is not a reflection on you personally. That is just what someone else is seeing of what you've put out, your product version has put out. So if you could, whatever critique you get back, that is for the small part of you that you are making something for. It is not you as a person. And if you can figure out a way to have that separation, I think that is, I'd say personally, that's the key, being able to separate yourself from that. Because I would take negatives to heart constantly. And I know people say, oh, you need to have a thick skin, you need this, you need that. If you can just look at a negative thing and go, okay, move on, improve, next step. It will hurt. It will, to start with, it will hurt, because when you're starting out, you don't have that separation. I think as you continue going, you then start to realize, this is my brand. This is what I'm good at. Like for me, it's audiobook storytelling and the like, and it takes time to get there. But I'd say if you feel like it's super overwhelming you to the point where you can't do anything, seek help and talk to somebody about it, because if we can't help with that part. All we can do is encourage and say, you no matter where you are on this path, you're amazing anyway. And that's what I'm going to say, because I know people want to hear, well, it's important to hear some positivity within this realm of thing. And I've met so many voice actors. I've met you guys. I've met so many people who doubt themselves. Pash, you doubted yourself straight off the bat starting this, didn't you? And and you're here now, and you've done so well with this, and we've all improved, I'd say.
Yeah.
And you've
So I
got this
think-
thing coming up on Tuesday that we're all super excited to watch.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
take from what if you're going to take anything away from this, people watching, it's that we all start somewhere. We all feel inadequate when we start out, but that is normal. That is a normal thing to feel, in the sense of feeling like you when you're just starting. But if you're getting to the point where you've done loads of stuff and it's still bearing down on you, talk to someone, talk to anyone, just talk.
Just talk to us.
Communication helps. It does. That's my advice.
Nice.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Well done. Any last minute thoughts here?
Yes.
Keep an open mind, keep an open heart, stay positive. Don't be afraid to spread that positivity, and drink your damn water.
Yeah.
Your
Love
water,
yourself.
water will keep
Love
you more
yourself.
positive.
The water
Yeah.
is 100% important. I can totally understand that.
Love
Anyway,
who
we
you are, because you are unique in all aspects. Sorry.
no, it's quite all right. Taking care of yourself, taking care of not only your body but your mind, super important. Like Muscatonic.
Yeah,
Is that Matt? Oh, hey Matt, how's it going?
Yeah.
Ah.
And, one of the things I did want to bring up as we were talking about it, because we've had Matt and we've had Shadow Wolf, and they don't always know what they're looking for. They don't always have the best idea for it. Remember, it's your interpretation, and just take it as that, and then move forward. I think that'll definitely help everybody out. For next week, we're hopefully we will give who's taking the intro, Eldurrino or Pashley?
I think it's Pashley's turn.
Yeah.
If you want to go together.
It's up to you.
Okay.
I'll take the intro.
You'll take the intro. All right. Even if it's another Brian type of situation, I'll be perfect.
But I can't because he's not here.
That's fine. You can record. This is why we can do stuff from
Just call him up on the phone real quick and just scream, Brian.
But yeah, this was a tough topic, I think, for everybody. Again, just keep an open mind for yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is the type of situation you're not going to get a lot of feedback, and you know what? It's no big deal. It's do the best that you can and move forward. Keep those auditions going, because as soon as you close the door, you can't improve if you don't do any more.
Right. You who said that you miss 100% of the shots you don't
Wayne
take?
Gretzky.
Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
But yeah, it's just one of those situations where you want to, but keep those auditions going. Please,
Yeah.
if you're listening to us, if you want us to check out one of your auditions, you can email ColdReadthePodcast at gmail.com. We'll be more than happy to listen to it on here, give you any feedback that we can. But again, keep in mind that we are just people that love to do this. We are not anything special. And
No,
yeah,
we're all special in our own right, Zamoody. So.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And then again, feel free to comment, feel free to subscribe to either the YouTube or the podcast. If you want to just drop us a line, and if you want to direct something to any one of us, I will forward the message over. ColdReadthePodcast at gmail.com. Until next time, we will see you all hopefully 1 p.m. either here or in any way that you can. But everybody, take care of, keep those recorders going. We will all see you all next time. Thank you all.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
And cut.